what have I done? I talked about Toyhouse. Here, DNIs, TOS, and talking over nonsense. Now it's time to wrap it up with talking Discourse, and together we shall embark on a new journey. Our choice can
So, Quacks, so this is going to be the appetizer for the Toyhouse Saga finale, meaning that this is going to be like the video where I talk about a bunch of stuff that just kind of didn't fit into the other videos that I wanted to talk about, but like I didn't want to make into like their own videos, whether it be because I didn't have much to say or I figured it would just better just combine a lot of these things into one video, so that way there's a lot of discussion points, and I think it'd be a great way for like lots of discussion rather than just like separate videos. I mean, I know that algorithmically that might be better, but I just don't want to make too many more videos about Toyhouse after this. I kind of want to move on, do something else, you know? So yeah, I decided just to combine all these topics together. So that said, let's just dive right in. This is a really weird thing I've noticed happens on Toyhouse, and this happens in the art community in general, but Toyhouse seems to be a very odd place where this happens a lot, and it's that people really love to ghost whenever they get like commissions or whenever they're doing art trades of any type. It's so weird to me why people do this, because it's like you know, if you're doing commissions, it's very unprofessional to like take on a bunch of commissions and then like disappear. Now, if you have something going on in your life, you need to tell people that something's going on in your life and that the art will take a while to be delivered. That's not hard. All you gotta do is say, hey, something's going on in my life, it'll take a while, and that's it. You don't need to give them your whole life story. You don't need to give like a super detailed reason. People will be understanding of that if you just say, hey, things are difficult right now, it's going to take some time. Nobody needs to know the sob story. You can save it. You can just say things are going to be difficult, but for some reason, a lot of people don't do that. They just disappear. And then same for the art trades. I've had a lot of art trades where people on their end, they take forever, and I'm like, what is going on? And they're like, oh yeah, sorry, I was busy with something. And it's like, why didn't you like at least give me a heads up beforehand? I waited like 5 weeks, and now I forgot about the art trade, I forgot about whatever, and now you're telling me you were busy? Like, really? I feel like if you're going to do art trades or commissions, you have to kind of be on top of things, and you got to be really communicative about what's going on, so that way if there's something preventing you from finishing the art, that you don't want to leave people hanging, because I feel like this is a big issue on the site. I do also think that the reason why this might be a thing is because a lot of people take on more than they can handle, and they get so overwhelmed that they ghost, because it's like the coward's way out. Or they kind of like will do a thing where they sort of will like ghost one person but then move on to another person, and then they just hope that the other person won't like call them out on it. But the thing is, they do call them out on it, because that's not fair. That person paid money for art, and then you don't deliver the art. So it's like they deserve to have the art. You shouldn't just skip and hop around. You gotta finish it. And if you can't handle that, then don't do commissions, don't do art trades, don't do any of that stuff if you cannot handle the pressure of getting art done for somebody. It's not fair for people to have something that they're waiting for and then you don't deliver it because you can't communicate with them. That's not right. That's what I have to say about that. Moving on to the next topic. This is somewhat related to the last topic, but kind of its own thing, and it's related to the Freebie art section of the forums, where people can like draw OCs basically, and like, you know, for free, like, you know, some sort of art game, like draw the OC above doing blank, or, you know, low effort things or whatever. And I've noticed a lot of people seem to be very persnickety with like art on Toyhouse. Like, there are these terms being thrown around: high quality, low quality, medium quality. I'm like, what the fuck does any of this mean? And it's basically very like reductive, and it's basically just like a way to put down artists who aren't good, because what one person might consider high quality could be low quality to somebody else, and it just feels very elitist and rude. And also, I think a lot of people in the freebies section tend to be kind of ungrateful. I noticed a lot of people do not thank people for like what they get, like especially if it's a character design. Like, you're getting a free character design and you don't thank the person, you just like take it and go. Like, really? You're gonna just be like that? Like, whatever happened to thank you? A lot of y'all do not say thank you enough, and it's really I know that it's like a simple thing, but still, it's that person took time out of their day to make something for you. Even if it's not the best, even if it's not amazing, they still took the time to do it. And like, there is a difference between someone who like is a beginner and try their best versus someone who is maybe a beginner but like they did a shitty job because they're rushing. Like, there's a difference. But like, if someone's a beginner but like they try their best and you're still like, oh well, this is beginner art, it's ugly in person, I hate it, it's low quality, like, the bitch, be grateful. Like, seriously, you got a free character, you got free art, and you're complaining. Like, it's kind of the similar mindset how some people are on Art Fight, where they get kind of upset when the art they get isn't like super high quality detailed shit. Like, you're getting art for free of your characters, you should be happy you're getting it anyway. And unless it's someone clearly making low effort and in like a sort of mocking way, or like they didn't even try or whatever, or they clearly rushed it, then yeah, I can understand being annoyed. But if they tried, then like, be happy, you know, be grateful. That's why I'm always grateful whenever I get art of like any type. It doesn't matter how good the skill is. If someone took time of their day to draw something for me, I'm going to appreciate it no matter how good or bad it is. Like, it's always going to be endearing to me. So I feel like more people gotta be grateful in that regard. I think that being thankful and grateful is lost art to some people. You young kids don't know the art of thank you cards. No, but you don't have to go that extra mile for thank you cards. But just say thank you to people when they draw stuff for you or whatever in the freebie section. Like, it's just one of those things that hurts me. I don't really participate that much in the freebie art section, to be honest. And when I have noticed another thing which ties into the last topic, where people just take way too long to finish things, which is why I'm glad that the forum thread owners will like have a limit on how much time someone has, like the maximum amount for like a deadline, because some people take way too long to get something that could be done in like a couple of days. They take like months. I'm like, bro, what's going on? I mean, I get it, you know, things are happening in their lives probably, but like, if you're gonna, again, do something for somebody in terms of art, and you owe art, you gotta be on top of it a little bit. You can't just leave people hanging for months and months, because that's not okay. I mean, I get it, something happened in your life, but you gotta clarify that to people. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Move on to the next topic. Okay, so this is going to be a topic that I feel like has been made a lot of in terms of videos, but I didn't want to make a video about it because, like, I don't know, I feel like I'd be regurgitating the points said in those videos, so that's why I'm including it in this video. I said video a lot in just those few sentences. Anyway, so close species, right? Now, they are something that I'm not against, but like, I have a lot of mixed feelings about them, because I've participated in like close species culture, but I've never really kept any of my characters. I've never just stuck to any of them. I have a lot of like artists that I follow that are either have close species or they're into close species in some sort of way, and that's cool. I don't mind that, but I just can never get into it, because I've noticed one of the things that I don't like about close species is that they all follow this plot line that I like to call the parasite plot line. They always seem to involve like being a parasite. It's always like there's some kimono mimi humanoid thing, and like they got some sort of parasite in them that causes them to turn into this like funky, weird, colorful creatures where they have all these like wacky things going on and stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's always the same thing, you know? It's always parasites, or it's like there's some sort of alien, demon, magic stuff. It's like they always got to do the same thing over and over again. Or they will do like the kimono mimi, but like there's a twist. It's like, oh, they're cat characters, but like the ears are made out of glass and they're filled with liquid, and the liquid has like sparkles in it. Like, wow, I've never seen that before. Or it's like they're kimono mimis, but like their tails are cinnamon rolls and their ears are like food themes. They're food themed kimono mimis. Like, wow, I've never seen that before. That's so original. And then the people who create these close species, not all of them, but a lot of them, they get so defensive about like their ideas. And they'll be like, if you ever make a character that looks like this or whatever, or you use any of these features, we're gonna hunt you down and like basically harass you. And it's like, you did not patent this. This is not like a super original concept. You took a species that exists, like you took something like a demon and then you added like an aesthetic to it. Okay, making demons but like making them like sweets themed is not a super original concept. That's not a bad thing. It's okay if you want it to be a thing, but you can't go around acting as if it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's not new. You just made sliced bread with like a different type of jam on it, okay? That's fine. It's okay to not be so original, but if you're going to be like that, then like at least admit that it's not the most original thing out there, and don't act like as if it's the most original thing, because it's not. Other things I don't like about closed species are that I don't like how gatekeepy it is. I feel like the entry into it can be very annoying because you gotta pay for it sometimes, which I think is the most stupidest thing ever. Why do I have to pay for a ticket, a MYO, or make your own, to make a character? What? I've always found that to be stupid. Like, ever since I discovered what closed species were, I was like, why the fuck do I gotta pay money to make a character? I can understand paying for an adoptable or for like a custom, but why do I have to pay to make a character? Why do I gotta do that? I'm making the character myself. That's like paying for your own commission, but like you're commissioning yourself to do it, basically. What? Doesn't make any sense. I think all closed species, it should be free to make a character, but like you gotta pay for like the adopts or the customs or whatever. I think that's how it should be. It shouldn't be you gotta pay for entry. I feel like that's stupid, and kind of ties into my other issues that I think a lot of the creators tend to be a little money hungry because they love to monetize every aspect of the closed species. I don't know why they do this. Okay, I know why. I find it to be very greedy. Like, why do you have to put, like, oh, you want to have like a character with like funky looking pupils? Well, you have to pay like $5 for this uncommon trait. Like, really? And that's another thing, is that a lot of these creators get so controlling over how species look to the point where it's like, it's not fun anymore. Because they're all going to look so samey that it's like, what's the point? Why are you going to control everything so much? Like, that's not fun. It's supposed to be fun. Closed species should not be like this super tightly controlled thing. It should be like creative freedom. You know, let people make whatever they want within the confounds of like the species, but like, you know, let them have fun with it. Let them be creative. Why do you gotta like restrict everything so much? Like, if it's to the point where it's like you can't have the eyes drawn a certain way or the nose drawn a certain way, then yeah, you're doing too much, and that's too controlling, that's too excessive. You need to back it up a little bit, okay? And another thing about traits, I find a lot of the traits to be very stupid because they don't make sense in terms of like the character, like the species. Like, they just slap anything aesthetic onto it and like, oh yeah, these are the uncommon and rare traits, you know, the usual. And it's like the most random things ever. It's always like, you know, they always got like fairy wings, demon wings, angel wings. They got like fish tails and like other stuff. I'm like, this is supposed to be like a demon species or whatever, like a parasite thing. Why do they have all these other aspects to it? That doesn't make any sense. Like, right? Like, what's the deal with that? And of course, you know, the most common features are usually the most boring, so you gotta pay extra for the uncommon and rare traits, so that way you can make more fun aspects of your character. And then, of course, if you don't want to participate in the closed species thing anymore, some creators will make it really hard for you to avoid, aka, like, you know, rid the character of like it being closed species and leaving from the closed species community or whatever, and like they make it so difficult. I'm like, bro, why do you gotta be like this? They're like, no, you have to change the character or whatever, you gotta like alter it so it doesn't look like the species, and it's like, just let the person leave, okay? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, you know, I don't. And then the lore of the closed species tends to be the same as well. It's never like anything super crazy. I mean, I'm not expecting like some, you know, Lord of the Rings level lore or anything like that, but like, I kind of wish some effort was put into a lot of these popular ones. You know, it's always parasites, it's always demons and angels, or like the simpler ones, it's always like aliens where they're like cutesy aliens like snails or kimono minis or whatever, or something like that, or they're just humanoids but they have something on their back, like they have a tail and the tail has like weird little things to it, or the tail is like dessert themed, or I think there was one where there was like a terrarium on their back, which is like, how does that work? How do they sleep? Like, what? But yeah, it's just, closed species just seem to be one of those things where they're just all over the place and like conceptually fun. You know, I like the idea of like having like a concept like that, but the way it's executed has just been so toxic, and there is way more things I could get into, but like I don't want to get into it because frankly it gets in a territory of like specific dramas and stuff, and this is not a drama channel. This is like a, you know, ranty general thing channel. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about closed species. This is definitely a good chunk of the video, so let's move on. So for this part of the video, I'm going to be talking about different discourses that happen on Toyhouse. So let's just dive right in with the first, which is Dreamy folders. Now, a Dreamy folder is basically a favorite folder where you put characters that you would love to have, like it'll be the dream to have it, into the folder, and a lot of people do not like them, understandably so, because it's kind of implying that you want the character so much. That would be like the dream to have it, and people get uncomfortable by that because it's like they're sort of eyeing the character, and some people are like, oh, it's not a big deal, so being so sensitive about it, and then other people are like, well, I don't really care. I'm in the middle. I kind of care, but also I don't really care. The reason why I'm in the middle is because I don't really go out my way to see what people put in their favorite folders for my characters, because it's kind of a waste of time, you know, it's just a lot of effort, so it's like, whatever. If someone has my OCs and their Dreamies folders, I'm not gonna know, because I'm not gonna go out my way to look. But if you do, like, it's a little weird, but like, I'm not gonna really hate you for it, as long as it's not like personas, but again, I'm not gonna know, so do whatever you want, I guess. But for people who are like, it's not a big deal, who cares? Imagine it like this, okay? Your neighbor comes to your house and it's like, man, your cat's like really cute. I wish I had your cat. Like, if you ever give up your cat for adoption, I would love to be the first person to have your cat. And then they leave. That's kind of like the vibe that it gives off, you know? It's like, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's a little weird. Just, you know? I don't know. Anyway. So there's other discourse that I'm not going to go too in deep with, because it's like, I don't know too much about it and I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I'm going to bring it up anyway so other people in the comments can talk about it. But, so there's a whole thing about kinning. I think that's like where you're like, you relate heavily to like a character or whatever. People get really weird about kinning. And also there seems to be a thing with people who are like kinning other people's OCs. I understand being uncomfortable with that because, what? I don't know, that's like another thing. Same with Yume shipping, like, people get really weird with that, and again, I'm not into all that, so I don't really get all of it. I don't know why people get so heated about it. I don't know why people get so defensive and over the top about it and harass people over it, because it just seems so silly to me, you know what I mean? Like, especially when I started hearing concepts in the Yume shipping community about sharing characters. Like, what? Okay, so you're upset that someone who is Yume shipping with, like, Goku, for example, you're upset that you're shipping yourself with Goku and another person is shipping themselves with Goku. Like, no shit you're going to be sharing. He's a popular character. Like, what? I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of my element here. I probably am, so I'm not going to continue talking much about it. But, yeah, I just think that, again, it's just people are over the top with the shipping stuff, and I think that y'all need to chill. No, there should be no reason for people harassing each other over kinning or shipping. I think that's ridiculous. And then there's the whole thing with systems, the DID thing. I'm gonna keep this really brief because I don't want to sound disrespectful, but there is definitely a lot of people who like to claim some people are faking DID or whatever, and then there's all this complicated terms and stuff that I just do not know, and I'm not going to get into it because, again, I don't want to sound disrespectful because it's, you know, it's a mental disorder and I don't want to trample on anything. So if anyone who is more knowledgeable about it can bring it up, then sure, but there's definitely a lot of discourse about like different types of systems and stuff, like this is valid and this isn't valid, and I'm just like, man, why are we like policing people's mental disorders? That's all I'll say. Is I think that doing so is just dumb because we don't know what that person's life is like behind the screen, and I just think that it's a little over the top, you know? Like, how about we just leave people alone, maybe? I don't know. This is just stuff that I don't know. That's why I'm just bringing this up, is like just stuff that people can talk about in the comments. Now, I will give heads up, this is going to get into some iffy territory. I'm not going to go in depth, but I am bringing this up because, you know, people tend to get weird about it. But there is an intense amount of pro versus anti-shipping debates on Toyhouse. It is crazy. Like, every DNI I've seen on Toyhouse has mentioned pro shipping in some sort of way. And if you don't know what that is, it's like that whole thing where it's like, you're pro... I'm just gonna put definition on the screen because I'm too lazy to remember the definition right now. But yeah, like, I'm honestly of the thing of just, I think both sides are very annoying, because I feel like the pro side, they're annoying in the sense that sometimes some of them are very edgy and weird. They're like, haha, you know, you guys are a bunch of prudes and whatever, and I like this thing, and look how edgy and cool I am. I like this thing, and it's, you know, it's so taboo. Ooh, look at me. And then the anti-people are annoying because they tend to harass and dox and witch hunt people, and I don't really agree with witch hunting people, to be honest, and doxing. I just think that's too excessive. If someone's into some really weird, freaky shit, like, you can just block them. I'm gonna move on, you know? If I see someone who's, like, into pro shipping, I just move on with my day. I don't bother them, because it's like, okay, well, this person weirds me out, I'm gonna move on. You know, I just think that's the best way people can go about things. But unfortunately, people on this fucking site do not know how to block and move on. They love to just go on theatrics and yap about how much they hate this thing, and how, you know, they have this moral high ground and stuff, and how they gotta go on and on about how if you like this thing, you're a bad person and stuff, and having all these things in their DNIs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, shut the fuck up. Just block people. You do not need to give us the whole story. You just need to block and move on with your life. Like, oh my gosh, no one cares. So, yeah, that's just something I just find so ridiculous. And that's why I've turned off warnings. Well, I did turn them on temporarily, because I wanted to see, like, how crazy warnings can get. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, when it comes to pro shipping and stuff, I just think that both sides are annoying. And if you don't like the people who are pro shipping, just block and move on. And if you're a pro shipper, just, you don't need to brag about how you're into taboo stuff or whatever. Just shut up and enjoy your weird little thing to yourself, okay? I don't really care enough to really bother with it or whatever. I'm not gonna say much else. Don't take me as, like, being a supporter or, like, liking it or whatever. I don't care enough to really bother with it. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about it. So anyway, then we have another weird discourse that you know, it's this whole thing with, like, people who are, like, the whole feral NSFW debate, which is just, every time I see, now I'm starting to feel like I'm chronically online. I mean, I am, but, like, this feels like something that, like, if you told this to, like, your grandma, they'd be like, what? Huh? What does any of this mean? But anyway, so the whole feral NSFW thing is something going on with, like, the furry side of Toyhouse or whatever. People are like, it's bad to draw, like, feral characters, aka characters who are, like, on 4 legs, or, like, more animalistic, I guess? I don't know. And, like, sexual NSFW situations or whatever. And, like, there's a whole debate about that, like, why it's okay or why it's bad. And I'm just like, why are y'all discussing this in the first place? How did this originate from? Personally, I'm on the side I don't like it. I think it's kind of weird, I'm going to be honest. Kind of agree that, yeah, I'm not going to really be happy if I came across it, but whatever, you know? It's one of those things where, like, I think something is weird, but, like, I just don't care enough to really, like, hate someone for it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I am with a lot of people. I think that's just because as I've gotten older, you know, I adopted the mindset of, if I don't like it, I block, or I just move on. I don't really block people, to be honest, so that's kind of why I'm so, like, blasé about this. And I don't really think I'm the type of person that's gonna, like, get into deep discourse about it, because it just doesn't really matter to me that much. Some people it matters more, so that's why they're more, you know, argumentative about it. But yeah, I just, I find it weird. I find the whole discourse to be kind of silly, but that's how Toyhouse is. They love to yap about stuff all the time on that site. So yeah, this has just been a very interesting video. I hope you guys enjoy. This is more of a video for, like, a comment fodder, basically. So if y'all want to have discussions and debates or whatever in the comments, then you can go ahead, have fun, as long as it's respectful or whatever. That's kind of the point of this video, so that way, you know, I have time to prep for the final, because oh boy, I've got a lot to say about the finale. So with that said, I'll see you quacks later.
Hang up, and I will call it there.